Good evening and welcome to another What's News. I'm J77 and I got four stories I want to talk about. I might as well get to the one that has been on the watch for eye for quite some time from the media, and that is the situation with the photographer who refused to take a picture of a same-sex couple. This actually made it to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court um, have turned away the appeals process. So let me just read what it says here. The U.S. Supreme Court turned away appeals from the New Mexico wedding photographer found to have violated the state anti-discrimination law when she refused to take pictures of a committed ceremony for a same-sex couple. The photographer, Elaine Hudgens, argued unsuccessfully that she was being unconstitutionally forced to convey a message conflicting with her religious belief. She was seeking to overturn a ruling against her company, Elaine Photography LLC, by the New Mexico Human Rights Commission. The High Court made no comment in rejecting the repeal. This is a very important decision for a lot of reasons. This one actually sparked a lot of anti-gay laws in across the country. One of them being Arizona. Now, what happened was if Arizona would have passed that bill, it would have made it possible for businesses, big and small, to discriminate against those of same sex. That is pretty much gays and lesbian couples. This law was so broad that it can actually could mean anything. If all you need to do is say, "I'm serving you," it's against my religious belief, and they don't have to serve you. That including not just the gays and lesbians, but it includes blacks, Latinos, anyone who religion doesn't vary with them. So Arizona had pretty much vetoed the bill, pretty much under pressure by small and big businesses who felt that was going to be affected by it. Now, as I'm speaking right here, there was just another bill passed, and the governor of that state of Mississippi had passed it, pretty much a similar bill to what was going on in Arizona. Now, I am going to address that in a separate video. I'm actually going to address that in a series that I do from Addict Expression. But believe it or not, I will talk about it because it is an important situation, and it pretty much gives me a chance to voice my opinion on involving these so-called religious people who claim they're doing this out of their religious belief. In reality, is nothing of a sort. But in any case, this is a very important ruling because this basically said to this lady, you cannot invoke your religious belief against the public. You are there to do a service, and if you can't do a service, you shouldn't be in business. The rebuff come as the Supreme Court weighed a major religious right case centering on President Barack Obama's health care law. The issue is that case is whether a for-profit company can claim religious exemption from requirements that employees cover birth control as part of the worker insurance plan. The court will rule by July. This is also a very big situation. Does your employer have the right to get in the way of your health? Does that give them the right? And this is actually a very big, very, very big case that uh, could actually put a very serious dent, or may not put a dent, in the Affordable Care Act, and in terms of when it comes to providing for birth control or any kind of health insurance benefits involving the woman in this in this situation. Excuse me. The New Mexican case turned on a different legal issue than the healthcare dispute. Hutchinson appeal forced primary on a speech clause in the Constitution, the First Amendment, rather than the religious freedom protection that are involved with birth control cases. Um, this is going to be pretty much this is going to be something that's going to be an ongoing issue, especially with other states who are trying to pass different laws because they feel that a lot of people's religious rights is being violated if they are to serve people who they deem not following their code of religion, which is all nonsense. But again, I'll get to that in a separate video. The rejection is a victory for Vanessa Wilcock, who filed a complaint against Eaton's photography in 2006. Her Hudgens says she wouldn't photograph Wilcock's committed ceremony. Wilcock urges the Supreme Court not to intervene. The Supreme Court has repeatedly held the business or operation in the public marketplace must obey anti-discrimination laws and that the First Amendment um, pose no barriers, which it don't. The case acted on today is Ethan's photography versus Wilcox 13-585. So, in case you guys want to look that up, you can. It's definitely going to be in the law library very, very soon because it is a very important case. To contact the reporter on this story, which it says here, I guess the link below, and I will leave a link myself. But like I said before, there's a lot of issues between this about what is deemed to be religious rights versus the versus interfering with public services. I'm like this. Someone should discriminate against anyone based on race, religion, or sexual orientation. But yet, a lot of these places are trying to use religion as a shield to justify their act of discrimination towards a certain group of people, and that should not stand. Unfortunately, Mississippi is still living in the Stone Age in some areas, and again, I got to get back to that because what they did is pretty much a prime example of how narrow-minded and closed-minded people are when it comes to a situation like this. They're only thinking about themselves. They're not thinking about the impact they have towards others. And what happened in Mississippi is a prime example of this bigotry running amok and using religion as the way to shield their bigotry towards others. I'll leave a link to the story. I will, if there's any other things to follow up on the story, I will. But I'm going to move right on because there's another story I would like to talk about. And this one, you know, I know you guys are getting a little tired of me talking about the school policies, but when again, it's hard to do that when you hear stupid stuff like this come on the airways. At first, I thought this was a joke. There is no way that a school is that stupid to suspend a kid for such a dumb stuff. But after one story led to another, it was clear that this has happened. Now, let's keep it real. The school is not telling us the whole story, but to me, the more they keep quiet, the more people are going to assume this is actually true. It's involving a student getting suspended for twirling a pencil. You heard me right. Ethan Chaplin, a student, says he was suspended for twirling a pencil. The article goes on. It was a twirling pencil or something more sinister. This is what the question they asked. That's the question that hovers over the story of Ethan Chaplin, a Vermont, New Jersey seventh grader who last week was told he could return to Glen Middle School only after he received psychological evaluation. According to News 12, Chaplin said he was sitting in class spinning the pencil with his pen cap on the top when a fellow student told his teacher he was making gun motions, send him to juvie. After the incident, Chaplin's dad, Michael, said the son was effectively suspended pending on the psychological examination which the middle schoolers passed. The school tells a different story. All right. The Vernon School Superintendent Charles Manzaro told Huffington Post he couldn't discuss the specific incident because of privacy laws, but he did say no school in the state of New Jersey or nationality would leap into school suspension for twirling a pencil. That's not the basis of the action of our actions. Here's the problem. You're not exactly explaining what happened that led to him being suspended. And that's the problem. As long as you keep it hush, and look, I understand there may be laws that does prevent it, but still, this made the news. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good at all. Instead, minister said that the student was not suspended, but was told he could return to school as a doctor's complete a psychological evaluation and determine if the student posed no threat to himself or to others. Now, here's the thing. You don't ask that condition unless you think something has happened, or something he did wrong. And again, it makes a pose question. If it's not the pencil twirling, what the hell it is? Because you're not going to ask a family member to go to take a psychological evaluation if you thought something he did posed a threat. And I'm kind of curious what this threat is. Because on face value, and this is done on 3 articles, it says here you suspended a kid for twirling a pencil. You're saying it's something different. And keep in mind, the media, what people don't seem to fail to realize, they can dig up things real quick, and people can't talk and leak things out. And like I said before, we have read plenty of articles of students getting suspended for dumb stuff over the past few years. Now you say, now the superintendent said this was not about the pencil. So what was it that you guys freaking out that you want him to take a psychological exam for? If it's not about the pencil, it had to be something. These schools ain't going to be satisfied until a lawsuit comes into play here. That's basically what's going to end up happening. It's going to be a massive lawsuit because it's gotten to the point where they're now spending his or making his taking psychological evaluations for the dumbest things. Yeah, the stuff they should be catching, they seem to ignore or go unnoticed. Now, here's what the superintendent have said in his defense. He said that in the wake of several deadly shootings in school or being especially careful, I don't want to be one who failed to act when there is a warning sign being demonstrated or displayed. And I say again, what was the warning sign that you see that justified you suspending this kid or let him go to psychological evaluation? Again, I'm assuming it is not the pencil because the way you're talking, it's something more. But if it is about the pencil, about him twirling a pencil, and you suspended this kid for that and let him go for a psychological test, it's not the kid who has to go for a psychological exam, it's you. Again, there's two sides to the story. I'm hearing one side, he is responding, but obviously something's going on. Michael Chapman told InfoWars about what his son had to undergo during a psychological evaluation. The child was stripped, had to be given a blood sample, which caused him to pass out, a urine sample, and all things drug testing. All things drug testing. Michael Chapman said then 4 hours later, the social worker spoken to him for 4 minutes and cleared him. Then an actual doctor came in and said the state was 100% inaccurate in their procedures, and they would not get him back into school. And this will not get him back into school. Now the kid is back in school, but that's not the point. The point is all this stuff was not even necessary. And again, I have to ask, if the pencil was not an issue, and I'm the parent, you better tell me what happened. Because I mean, if you're gonna let me go through my parents' kids go through it, you better give me a legitimate excuse why it happened. Otherwise, I'm taking you to court. Because this kind of crap gotta stop. I'm being real. They gave him tests that you give somebody who's been convicted of a crime. Convicted of a crime. People who got convicted of a crime get these kind of tests. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But you understand where I'm coming from, guys. Let me just move this way. You guys understand where I'm coming from. I'm hoping this is not about pencil twirling. I really do. But again, with everything I've seen so far, would it surprise anyone if it was? When I'm told the pencil, you freak out. Now all of a sudden you want to suspend the kid, you want to take him to psychological exam for twirling a pencil. Something I did when I was a kid. But yet they seem to ignore the most important part of bullying. But you keep on fighting this petty crime fight. All I do is just bury your school even more. On to restaurant business. Chile have made some news headline. Something I didn't know they was planning to do. Chile have canceled plans to fundraise for anti-vaccination autism group. Didn't even know they was even involved in that. But it says here that Chile has canceled the event after negative feedback from customers. While we remain committed, and this is something that Chile said, while we remain committed to supporting the children and the families affected by autism, we are canceling Monday's Give Back event based on the feedback we heard from our guests. Chile's Grill and Bar, which I had ate there when I was living in Staten Island at one point, spokesman said to the Huffington Post in an email, "We believe autism awareness continues to be an important cause of our guests and team members, and we will find other ways to support this worthy effort in the future with, again, our sole intention of bringing help to a family affected by autism." Um, The article also says enjoying the triple dipper at Chili's on Mondays. Of course, they're going to promote summer on our Monday. Money will be going towards anti-vaccination efforts. This is what they said on April. The restaurant chain will be donating 10% of customers' checks to the National Autism Association in honor of our National Autism Awareness Month. On its website, the NAA claims that vaccination can uh, expects autism, some, if not many, children. Though the anti-vaccination movement had gained steam in recent years, more and more data shows that the anti-vaccination effort can result in outbreaks, which it has we've been seeing a lot in the last few months, especially in New York with the mumps. So this is something that people need to take very good care, very be aware of. For preventable diseases like measles, the Center of Disease Control has repeatedly disputed the idea of causal relationship between vaccinations and the development of autism in children. On the website, the ADA does make a definite statement about vaccination and autism, instead directing users to the National Vaccine Information Center, a nonprofit organization, and the book Dyslexia Journal. Michael Sasson wrote in the NVIC and the important power for vaccines organization in America, and the relationship with the U.S. government consists almost entirely of opposing federal efforts aimed at vaccinating children. Here's the problem with this whole thing, and I will get to Chili's in a minute because I'm going to leave that as a separate thing. I don't know if there's actual connection because, frankly, I haven't seen any. I have read up on autism and also vaccinations. I have also felt that this is also a scare tactic by some who just looking for any excuse to not vaccinate their children, especially diseases that can cause not only further damage and return of diseases that was pretty much deemed extinct at one point, but it also can cause death because your child is not, you don't have um, the immune or the vaccine in their system to fight off these diseases as well as these outbreaks. I understand there's a big thing about autism. I'm not sitting here and arguing that. Autism is a very big issue in this country, and it is something that we need to take a further look at, especially some of the symptoms. But to outright blame vaccination as the main cause is not the right way to go. First of all, these guys who write these books, I'm kind of curious of where they're getting their information from, because I guarantee you, none of them don't have a doctorate degree. And if they do, please point me at the right direction. Leave links to me so I myself can read what they're saying and what resources they have to back it up. See, that's the thing about it. A lot of people just taking a lot of these guys as a word, and they don't even have the resource to back up their claim. Some of them just saying it just to say it. Now, it's not just those who believe that the vaccinations that was around for years are causing autism towards children. That's not the only one. There's also a religious thing that's also being involved. A lot of people who are strong in religion and they feel it's against their religion to take vaccination also plays a part in that too. So it's not just those who feared autism who's not getting their children vaccinated. But the point I'm trying to get here is that we're seeing the consequences of this in many states, including New York. New York has had an outbreak, and they're just trying to get it back under control because a lot of parents just don't see the necessary steps to get their children vaccinated. To me, it's very important that you do. Okay, my child or any other child should not have to be infected because of your neglect. They was there for a reason, and they were working. All right. Now, unless there is actual solid proof, not someone who's just made up something over the fly, just to write books and just to bring fear to those people, then then yeah, I will probably take a look at it and I will say, okay, we need to discuss this. Why this vaccine is causing this in children, but not just take it full blindly, not even doing our own research. That's the whole thing. We need to do our own research in that situation. Now, as for Chile, let's I'm gonna say this. Why do major corporations feel they need to put themselves in this political spotlight when it comes to stuff like this? We had Chick-fil-A, which, by the way, announced that they are actually changing their policy altogether. I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing. We have other companies who want to put their 2 cents on whether or not they should give out birth control based on their own religious beliefs, which should not even be a question whatsoever. And we have companies supporting agencies that may or may not have the best interest of people in mind. So I don't understand how Chile can put themselves in this situation. Now, granted, I understand they are very deep and passionate with children with autism, and that's a good thing. I'm not saying it's bad. But I wouldn't put yourself in a situation where many people who don't agree with the anti-vaccination group, whatever reason is, they shouldn't be putting themselves in the middle of this situation because you're not going to please anyone, and that's exactly what happened. Again, I have no problem with them supporting people who are looking to fight autism. There's not a question about that. My question is, the group that you're supporting may or may not have that interest in mind. They may have other agendas, and they're using autism as a tool or a vehicle to push their hidden agenda. And I do believe that there's some people who claims these kind of stuff that anti-vaccination brings autism. Um, I do believe they don't like the vaccination and they're trying to deregulate laws to prevent people to get vaccinated. To me, I gotta question those people because the first thing I'm gonna ask them, where is your facts? Where is this stuff to back it up? If you can't back it up, what are you going on? What's your true motivation? And I guarantee you, half of those people will not show you their true motivation. So that's just my feeling on this. Now, look, if Chile wants to donate money to the Autism Associated America, God bless them. Okay, I'm not saying that they're wrong. What I'm saying is that Chile and any other restaurant, when they involve themselves in these organizations, be careful because you're putting yourself in the middle of what could be a potential firestorm. And even though that was never your intention, it could make you look bad in the long run. Okay, That's all I gotta say on that matter. But again, it is something I believe strongly that we should have a nice long conversation because I think we're not talking about it enough when it comes to autism, and to separate the facts from the rumors, the fears, from being fearful to be having the knowledge and understanding and education. We need to have this discussion, which is something we're not really doing. All right, we should not let fear be the educator. We should let knowledge be it. And having someone fears or anti-vaccine, don't hear it because they call it autism. No, let's show me the facts. Show me a record documentation, and then show me your knowledge, your experience of why you feel this is it. If you're just saying it for saying it, then it's just basically you're just wasting my time, and you're bringing fear onto people that you didn't need to do that, and you're basically putting a lot of people's lives in danger at the process. So my saying is, if you're gonna support something, fine, but be responsible. Know what you're getting yourself into when it comes to these groups. And with that, I'll leave with Chuck Schumer from New York. I left this one last because to me, I'll say it like straight up. I'm not a fan of the Koch brothers at all. I think that they represent everything that is wrong with this country. All right, these guys are you got have a lot of politicians book paid and sinker, and they do their bidding perfectly. So it's a relief when they hear a senator, who I'm not a fan of, by the way. I'm not a fan of him at all. But I do give him his respect and his due because he done a lot for this city. And it's one of the reasons why he keeps getting voted in, and that is Chuck Schumer. Now, Chuck Schumer said some not so nice things to the Koch brothers, and MSNBC had called him out on it. But Chuck Schumer, knowing what he is, basically didn't back down either. This is what he said. Senator Chuck Schumer, a Democrat from New York, is again defending Democrats' recent attack on Charles and David Koch, the billionaire brothers who has spent millions backing conservative candidates and causes. Appearing on MSNBC Morning Joe on Monday, Schumer said the strategy for going after the GOP mega donors will work. The fact that 48% of Americans know who the Koch brothers are in April, uh, that means about 90% of them will know in October that they are going to be something, Schumer said, referring to George Washington University battleground polls released last month. Democrats had recently aimed to focus on voters' attention on the influence of the Koch, and it's led up to a mainstream election this fall. Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid, a Democratic from Nevada, um, has led the charge, assuring the GOP is being addicted to Koch. And it's true. The Koch brothers are a very, 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 very powerful people, and they have a very powerful pull within the Republican Party. They got a lot of things passed, not for the good of the people, but for their own benefits. They have been working very hard to deregulate almost every law and actually having tax cuts to the point where none of the rich are paying anything in this country. They're barely paying anything right now. So, yeah, Chuck Schumer and the rest of the people, if they know what's best for them, will be going after them because, frankly, they got a lot of things done. And let's be realistic, most of the Republicans are puppets to the Koch brothers, as well as a lot of other rich people who donate huge amount of money. The Supreme Court didn't help matters when they basically struck down some federal guidelines preventing these money to be put down. Now that they're not there, you better believe they're going to put a whole bunch more money to get their candidates passed and to get their causes passed as well. And this is one of the things where I say that the government is bought from both sides. Not just the Democrats, but the Republicans. The Republicans and Democrats are bought from both sides. They are. Um, the article also said, in appearing on MSNBC program, the New York Times, Jeremy Peter, who detailed the Democrat anti-Koch strategy in an article published on Saturday, Peter compared the Democrat tactics to earlier, larger, fruitless GOP attempts to verify liberal donors George Soros. Schumer rejected the idea. It's different for George Soros, Schumer said. First, the Koch brothers are doing far more with ads than people recognize, and second, they're just a real issue, not just an ideological issue, but specific issues in the state about them. And I think it's going to make a difference. It's going to undo the strings of a lot of these ads. We're already finding that the pollings for a few of these states. The article also concludes by him continuing the Koch brothers isn't just sitting in there innocently on the side. So I don't feel sorry for them. I don't feel their First Amendment rights is being hurt in anything like that. Schumer noted that attacking the Republican backers couldn't be his party's only tactics as a mainstream approach. If it's our only strategy, we'll lose, he said, but we also have to shield that projects protect us from these and I think the Koch brothers will thing will work. So basically saying if they want to play dirty, we're gonna play dirty too. Let's go. All right, and you know what? Honestly, get used to this. There's gonna be a lot more to come. Like I said, we're almost. This is almost springtime. Midterm elections is not that far away. All right, this is going. This year is going very quickly. I can't believe we're now on April approaching May. I still can't believe it. So yeah, this is now. They're getting ready and they're getting ready fast. Okay, and to me, the Koch brothers do have a lot of pull, along with a lot of other strong Republicans, and they got a strong voice in the media. Let's keep it real. They got a lot of strong voice in the media. They got Fox along with all the other conservative media, and that's their vocal. That's their vehicle. And the Democrats need to get loud, and need to get loud, and need to use the liberal stations as well as the social network to get their voice across. They can't stay silent. If they want to have a chance of 2014, staying silent is not going to be the issue. They're going to have to be loud. They're going to have to get their opinions across. They're going to get their agenda across, and they're going to have to do it more aggressively than the GOP. They got to do it. And I don't see Chuck Schumer being wrong on that. I'm not a fan of Chuck Schumer at all. I mean, I'm being real. But like I said, he's done a lot for this city. He's done a lot for his state. That's why he's been voted multiple times. He's one of the old vets here. And there's a reason why he's been voted a lot of times. He's done a lot. Doesn't matter to me I respect the guy. I don't mean I like the guy, but I do respect him. And I do agree that, hey, gloves are off right now. 2014 is very, very important. And for Obama, I hope he realized that. Because if he gets a predominantly Republican Party in both the House and the Senate, you can forget about him getting anything done for the next 2 years. He's pretty much going to be a lame duck president. And the last thing he needs to be is a lame duck president. Even though it doesn't matter, he's not running again. Those 2 years will be crucial. Crucial. So those are the topic stories that I got in hand. As usual, you guys can make a comment on you want. Give me your feedback as always. Like to hear what you got to say. I wanted, before I go on, I have to say right here, I have been keeping an eye on the YouTube situation involving the so-called super flaggers and whatever stuff they was calling on to it. Again, I have to say this. I don't want to bring up something that may or may not be true. I know the Archfiend talked about it. A couple other guys have mentioned this on their videos. They have left links. I am not too sure how this is going to work. I really don't know. I am noticing any changes in my videos, which is not a bad thing because that means that they actually have controlled that automatic flagging system they had, which was a pain in the neck and done more harm to them than good. But I'm going to keep looking. From what I'm seeing, I don't think they're actually going to implement it just yet. And that's because of what Yahoo is doing. Yahoo have already made an announcement they're going to try and be this super video sharing site, but even though it's not, because they're going to be hand-picking some of the contents to join their video. How that's going to work, I don't know. But it did bring an alarm towards YouTube. Don't think they haven't paid attention, because the media have gotten a grab of it, and some of the stuff they said, needed to say, wasn't very good. When you have negative press like that, I don't care who you are, how large you are. If you get negative press like that it's global, they're gonna stop and listen. As for Yahoo doing this, I'm gonna be honest with you. They already had a video site before. They didn't post anything on it. You wasn't allowed to post anything on it. It was only their people posting stuff on there. And even though they have announced this big review that they're gonna have these high-ranked producers, they can't just go on that alone. Let's be realistic. The reason why YouTube is what it is right now, whether you like it or not, is because it is still a community site. Anybody can post a video there. Granted, they may not see, most people may not see your video, but it's going to be there. And at least whenever people stumble across it, people can see it. Um, they're just relying on contact and contact of high contact quality alone. And I got no problem with that, but you can't call it a video sharing site. I don't consider that guy's video sharing site. They pick and choose who to be on their site. Once that happens, the community base, in terms of having your video front and center, gets thrown out the door. Um, and I think Yahoo needs to understand that and understand it fully. Now, they want to have people who are going to make contact. They're going to probably must give better better commission when it comes to their videos, whether it be kind of commercial or commercial viewing or by the views of the thing. I don't know. They're all trying to sweeten the pot, but here's the thing: if you don't have that community base, um, it pretty much won't work out the way it is. It just won't. Just ask Blimp. Blimp, as good as it is, there are some people who just didn't get that same community feeling as they would have gotten on YouTube. As a matter of fact, some people left Blip for that reason. I mentioned this before. But if it does, that's fine. I actually think that would be a good thing. But I wouldn't be shocked if I wouldn't think that YouTube have nothing to fear yet. To me, it has to be more than just having the top-notch guys on your channel. You can recruit them. You can take it from YouTube. But YouTube, and I agree with some of the things that a couple of video vloggers have said. There's always going to be someone to fill their shoes, and they're going to probably do the same thing that that person that you took from that site to do that, and they will be on the rise, while the other person who still may have his fans, but not nearly as much as he used to. And like I said, in this situation, money do talk, and if they feel they're making less than what they were, they will not stay with you for long. So at the same time, though, I am curious how they're going to do it, and trust me, YouTube is paying attention because they heard the noise. A lot of people who make videos there and done a great job making videos there isn't exactly feeling it right now. They isn't exactly having the best of interest. So, with that being said, as always, guys, leave your comment below. Let me know what you guys feel. I want to tell you this right now. There will not be a What's News next week. I'm working on something that is very important. It's going to take the whole week, so I won't do on What's News. I will do individuals, but What's News will be skipped to next week. It will be 2 weeks from now. So just give me an early heads up. But for now, this is J77 saying take care, be safe. I'll talk to you soon.